Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Dashcoin Research Podcast. I'm your host, Nicholas Wenzel, and this is your source of information for all things internet capital markets. Today, we have Ardent with us. Ardent is the founder of Runit, an on-chain casino built on Solana with a token launched on the Believe platform. Ardent, it's great to have you here.
Thanks, Nicholas. It's nice to be here, and I'm excited to talk a little bit.
Hell yeah. Some things I want to talk about in this episode are what your product is, kind of talking, maybe about what makes it different than other casinos. Also, who you are and maybe what, you're pseudonymous, so we can maybe only get so much information. But talk about your background, what else you've built. Talk about the tokenomics and like what you have planned for the token, that kind of stuff, and maybe some go-to-market strategies of how you aim to get users onto your platform, like how you bring people onto your casino. And
Right.
maybe let's just go start with who are you, Ardent? Like what were you doing before this?
Well, honestly, I've been in crypto for the last couple of years, so I haven't really built too much before this. But yeah, I've always been in the trenches, I guess, very involved with trading and different, meme coins coming out. And I kind of took a step back and realized there's definitely smarter ways to apply myself. So that's when I started building Runit. At first, it was kind of more of a proof of concept, just to test out whether or not handling all the payments on chain is something that's actually feasibly possible. And then I guess yeah, I kind of iterated, and now we're here with a full blown platform and revenue and whatnot and a whole token. So definitely a big change from what I actually was doing a year ago, but it's for the better, I think.
Totally. I'm glad you decided to build something as well. I think trading is fun, but a lot of traders can do that also while building something. Are you still in the trenches, or did you give that up?
I gave that up, unfortunately. I think I lost a bit too much money doing that, so not really
Yeah,
my thing.
there's only so much time in the day too. You can't spend all your time building and all your time trading. And I think
Exactly.
with trading, you definitely need to be doing your research and stuff, and like be kind of tapped in. Um, so why'd you launch on Believe? Like what's that story like? Just take us from the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, I never really had it like set in stone. There's obviously a lot of different launch pads out there. I think the simplest way I can put it is that the most legitimate projects were launched on Believe. Like when you think of Pump Fund, you don't think of an actual valid, revenue producing company launching, a coin on Pump Fund. When you think Pump Fund, you think shitcoin. You don't think an actual, you know, proper token with an actual company backing it. So Believe was definitely one of the more legitimate launch pads out there, I think. I also like their team very well. I think they're, based in the U.S. They're mostly doxed, and they're operating, above ground, which is very good. So I think on all those kind of parts, they kind of check a lot of the boxes that I wanted from a launchpad. And I like the idea too that you don't have to own your own token to make money out of it, right? I mean, I don't even own, except for the what is it, our like house funds. We don't actually own any tokens. We don't trade them. We just make money off the Believe fees, which I think is a very good system. So we're not incentivized to dump on our holders or users. So I think Believe does a lot of things that a lot of other launchpads don't do, and they're very legitimate. So that's why I chose them.
Yeah. And I'm guessing you heard about them on Twitter.
Yeah, of course.
hmm Yeah, it's been interesting. Twitter has been a super good distribution mechanism for Believe. Like that's where all the best projects heard about it. That's where like Dupe heard about Believe. Yeah, Twitter's been awesome for them. And yeah, I'm a big fan of the Believe team. People give Ben shit for not shipping fast enough, and I agree he's not shipping fast enough. But like, I'm not gonna go ahead and build a better launch pad than him. I think if you want to, go ahead and try, but you're gonna have a hard time. So instead of just coping on the sidelines and calling Ben names and telling him to ship faster, like try and build something better or shut up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, then again, a lot of people just like to shit post. Like I posted something like, "Oh, Ben, why did you nuke? Why did you have to bomb Iran?" Like
Yeah, hey, they call
just
it they
shit
call it
post.
launch coin for a reason, right? I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
but
um, yeah.
oh yeah,
I love the Believe team. I think it's a cool system, and for your token, I think you don't need a bunch of the supply. So like the fact that you just get some of the fees, and that's a good way to make money. I think that fits you guys really well. Um, so can you talk to us about how the business works? Like, how do you guys make money outside of the revenue from the fees?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of a traditional online casino. I mean, we have a fixed house edge, so we do make over time. We'll make money off of just wager volume. Obviously, some people will lose, some people will win, but over time, like any normal casino, we're going to be, as the house, we're going to be up. So that's kind of our main revenue point is just the fact that we have a house edge. Um, and yeah, that's the main income right now. I think the belief fees too were a big kind of injection, because we started off with less than 10 Solana. Like this whole project was bootstrapped to the fullest extent. Like again, our house funds were down. We had like I think less than 10 Solana all in all, and now we're obviously doing that every couple hours in profit. So it's changed a lot, but yeah, main source of money is just having a house edge, and just like a normal casino, we operate in that way.
That's sick. I love that. Congrats on building something cool from the ground up, something profitable.
Thank you.
How do you think about the token? Like, where does that fit into your business plan?
That's a good question. It's honestly something we've kind of had to think about as we go. The main reason I launched the token in the first place was because we needed that capital injection. Like I said, we were super bootstrapped, only had 10 Solana to make everything happen, and now with launching through Relieve, we have a lot more than that. But now that we've launched it, it's a matter of keeping it integral to our product, right? We want to basically incentivize people to trade our token and also to hold our token. So we did that in a couple different ways. Right now, if you're a player on our site and you regularly wager, you get kind of a boosted reward rate if you play and deposit natively with our token. There also kind of some cosmetic benefits to holding our token, like you got some badges in the chat and whatnot. But yeah, right now we're kind of trying to do some more things with the token. It's a difficult field to navigate as far as legality, right? I mean, it's not really. A lot of people say, "Oh, just do a revenue share," but it's not really as simple as that. There's a lot of legal, hoops we have to jump through. And actually, the kind of simple answer is that we can't just give 20% of our revenue to our token holders. Like, that's a complete nightmare as far as the legal side of it goes. But yeah, we do want to kind of keep the token as a central part of our product, whether that's through utility and also just doing buybacks and burns. But we also want to make sure we're compliant, obviously, with the law, with Uncle Sam and all that.
Yeah, that's an important piece of it, and I think pretty much most people are shooting in the dark unless they've hired like legal teams for this. There's very few teams that actually have like straight lawyers like on their side talking them through this. But what's optimistic to me is that there are like legal ways to do kind of what the holders are asking you to do in a more indirect form, where you're putting buy pressure on the token through different mechanisms. And that's really interesting to me. And I think that's what excites me about all these belief tokens, is that we have those different mechanisms in place in various ways. And for your casino, I feel like there's some straightforward ways to do it, but it's just a matter of finding those places. And it's good that you're looking to do that, and you're also looking to do it compliantly, so that you're here for the long run and you don't just get swept away by the SEC or something. We want you around for a long time.
Yeah, and I know I'll actually kind of bounce an idea off you. What we've been thinking of doing is I don't know if you're familiar with the Powerball token that was kind of sweeping crypto Twitter a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so we wanted to do something like that where we allocate 10-15% of our platform fees and our belief fees into I guess a bit of a raffle, like a weekly raffle, and then distribute it. So it's kind of like a gamified form of revenue share, but say we distribute it 30 ways to just random token holders. So people are incentivized to hold. They don't have to necessarily gamble on our platform in order to get those benefits. They could still get airdropped money or Solana based on just holding the token. But that's one of the ideas we've had. Again, it's a bit difficult to navigate the whole legal side of this without a team of lawyers. And I think Believe is doing. They're kind of trying to make sure they're compliant right now. They're focusing heavily on that, which is to me very bullish because it shows they're here for the long run. They're not here to do a quick, 100 mil. I think they've surpassed that figure now, but they're here for the long
No,
run, which is good.
I don't think they've made over 100 mil in fees yet. I
You don't
don't
think
think
so?
so. Last I checked, it was like 25 mil, and that was like not super long ago that I checked. I
Really?
don't know. I think it's definitely over 25. It's probably like 50 maybe, something like
Okay.
that, but not 100. I think 100 is overshooting it because
Okay.
the
Okay.
volumes have been so low recently
They
that I
have,
don't think
yeah.
it's pretty much like most of their fees came from the first couple of days of trading.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, let's hope they stick around once they hit that figure.
oh yeah, I think they will. I think they're going to be around for the long run. They also have such an awesome platform. Like if they'd be stupid to give it up so early, like there's a lot more juice to be squeezed out of this. So
Yeah, yeah,
even just
absolutely.
looking at the profit incentives, I think they're incentivized to keep this train going. Um, yeah, I like the idea of doing like a raffle type thing. I think that's fun. I think holders ultimately just want to know that like when Runit does good, their bags do good, and that's the ultimate
Yeah.
like test of like can you marry these two things together in a compliant way. And that's something I've been thinking deeply about lately on how to exactly do that and how to make that happen. Um, and the answer is different for every token because people are based in different areas. Like you have different laws if you're incorporated in the U.S. versus if you're in the Cayman Islands.
Right.
So it varies, but Dupe has done a good job of integrating their token and putting buy pressure on it in a compliant way. They do it with like a team of lawyers, and I really respect Bobby for doing it that way.
Hmm.
So they're, I think this is very developing, and most people are in your shoes where they're like, I want to do this, I just don't know how to do it compliantly, and it's okay to take your time and do that. Even if your holders are screeching at you to go faster, it takes time to figure out how to do that compliantly.
Right, right. And I think
Um,
I mean, it's a very new industry. It's a very new, the whole internet capital market ecosystem is super new. I'm sure there's a lot of question marks. It's not just, a lack of knowledge on our end, but it's also there's really not a clear outline for what is and what isn't allowed as of right now. And especially when you start, thinking about different jurisdictions and being incorporated in one place and living in another, it's just a complete nightmare to navigate. And unless you have, honestly, like hundreds of thousands of dollars to throw at legal teams and um, other, I guess, yeah, legal staff, you really don't have a clear answer. So my mentality is really just operate in good faith, make sure we're not doing anything that's, clearly against any law, and we'll be fine for the long term. And we'll kind of adapt as more outlines or clear outlines are set. So,
I agree. I think that's a solid way to do it, and
yeah.
you'll find a lot of success doing it that way. I definitely want to spotlight your project a bit more. Can you talk about like what makes your casino different than some of the others? Because I feel like we've seen this before. I remember Rollbit back in the day was a thing, and that was like a casino on Solana that I played a little bit on. Um, and there's a few others as well. I think there's luck.io somewhere.
Right, right.
So tell me about yours. Why would a
Why run
gambler
it?
want
Why
to
run
use
it?
Run It? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good question. I think there's been like online casinos haven't been out for too long. I'd say like only a decade or so, but the way they operate is you can deposit onto their site with, whether that's cryptocurrency or like bank or cards or whatever. But the main difference between us and them is that when you deposit on their site, they hold your funds. So you're playing with basically useless, meaningless pixels. Like you're just playing with numbers in a database, and it's up to them to honor the withdrawals you want to do, right? So there's a lot of situations where they'll let you deposit thousands of dollars without asking any questions, and then the second you win a little bit and you want to withdraw it, they ask you for fucking 20 different documents and your dog's name, and they just shut you down. And I know for a fact that from a legal standpoint, they don't need all that information. They do it to make it more of a hassle for you to take your money out. And it's obviously in their incentive to keep the funds that you're about to withdraw. So the way we do it is we handle everything on chain, so we're not actually ever storing or holding your money. The only thing you're doing is depositing into each game. So the second you want to withdraw, the second we have to freeze your account for whatever reason, it's not like you're using or losing your money. You still have it. So that's the main difference. Luck.io, like you mentioned, they're pretty much doing a very similar thing, the kind of concept of non-custodial, provably fair gambling. They're they're backed by Rollbit, I believe, so they have millions of dollars to throw at this, compared to again a small team like us who's super bootstrapped. I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but they're doing like $500,000 partnerships, and I mean that's more than our entire bankroll times five, right? I mean, it's obviously there's levels to this industry clearly, but I think our advantage here is that by being such a small team and we're really like crypto native, we can pivot really quick, we can ship really quick. So they have to jump through a bunch of hoops to push out new games or kind of listen to their community. I feel like they're really disconnected. So we're kind of hoping to compete with them, and I don't know. Obviously they have a couple more games than us. They've got slots and whatnot, but I think down the line our goal is to be pretty much have the same like level of UX or user experience as some of those big casinos like Stake or Shuffle, but just do it in a way that's completely non-custodial, so you don't have to trust us to honor your withdrawals, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's cool. Um, is this your full time focus?
Yeah. More than full
Nice.
time. It's like 14-hour days since the start of this. Yeah, I've been developing it for I guess the last like 9 months ish, 9, 10 months. Kind of on and off, more as like a proof of concept than an actual like I'm gonna make this my full-time job. But I think after the launch, I realized like, oh shit, this just got real. This is like a full-time. This is like two full-time jobs. It's like you're raising like three different kids at once and working two jobs. Um, so I think I think now I'm like balancing out a little bit more. I'm thinking, sleeping a full 6, 8 hours a day and actually eating. But yeah, the first couple weeks were brutal.
Yeah, I can relate. The first like bit of having the token for me, I was doing a lot of work, and I think that's how it naturally is. But you got to get to a more even balance eventually.
Of course.
Um, so yeah, what are you excited about for Run It in the next couple weeks? You got any like updates that you're excited to ship?
Well, I think either tonight or I don't know when you're going to release this, but on the 23rd of July or the 22nd even, or June, sorry, we're going to be launching or releasing our gem shop. So you're going to be able to actually use the gems um, you've earned playing on our site to basically like buy Solana credit on our site. And just for like a quick explanation, basically it's like gems are our version of like our on-site balance. When you play, the more you wager, the more gems you earn, and it's kind of like a way to give back to the users, so they can buy different sort of rewards with it. But that's one thing that we're definitely looking forward to. As far as like more long term, I think we're gonna try and do USDC and like meme coin deposits. So you won't be limited to just like Solana or our token. If you want to play with, whatever Giga coin or Fart coin, you're more than welcome to do that. Um, and even more long term, I think we're gonna try and implement kind of the live dealers that a lot of the big providers have. So people are, providers like Evolution Gaming or Pragmatic Play, like those sort of slots and live dealers would be really fun. Um, I don't think any people have done that with crypto or like a non-custodial way just yet. So it'll be interesting to navigate that from a technical standpoint, but I think it's definitely like something we do want to do in the future.
Yeah, sounds like you have a lot of good ideas of different things you can implement, and the like grass is very green. You can do a lot of different things out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
How are you thinking
there's
about going? Sorry.
no. I was just saying there's no shortage of things we can build and features we can ship out. Like you could lock me in a room for 2 years and I would probably still be pushing out new features that are fun. So
Oh yeah.
a lot of things to be doing.
Don't tempt the holders, bro. They're gonna find you and lock you in a place for two
Hey,
years to make
that's
sure you
why the
ship.
camera's off, man. That's why the camera's off.
Yeah, let's speak about that really quick. So why use pseudonymous? Why don't we tell us our name?
I think it's honestly something I've considered, and I'm not even sure I'm going to stay pseudonymous. I think just as of right now, there's the kind of negatives outweigh the positives, right? You've got like a very toxic, in my opinion, environment on crypto Twitter, or just Twitter in general, and especially with gambling, like someone loses a bit of money and they're irresponsible with how much they bet, and they're like, oh fuck this guy. It's kind of more of a safety thing than anything else. But I do think it would only benefit me as far as like our token price and our platform success if I did decide to dox. Because like I said, I mean, I'm a American citizen, pretty well educated. Like I think if I were to drop my LinkedIn or something like that, people would think it's very bullish. It's just I feel like it's a bit more trouble than it's worth right now, but we'll see down the line. Like it's not really a set in stone thing. It's just I need to give it more thought and
It's
think about it
fair.
a bit more.
I think it's a good baseline to be pseudonymous until you want to be doxxed and you have a good reason to dox.
Yeah,
I
of
think that
course.
makes a lot of sense. What's your go-to-market strategy? Because I think the success of your platform kind of depends on how many users you can get using it, right? So the go-to-market's very important of like how do you expand? So maybe tell us what you're thinking there.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I think our goal is to kind of spread through Twitter a lot. Like it's pretty obvious to me at least that crypto now has changed a lot from 5 years ago. Like it's all a lot more speculative now. I think there's very few people who actually care that much about the technology. They're more kind of just trying to sell their token higher than they bought it for. So I think gambling is just a really intrinsic part of crypto and crypto Twitter especially. So if people realize that there's a way to provably to gamble in a provably fair and um, kind of like structured environment where they're not getting rugged or they're not getting scammed basically nonstop, they can kind of scratch that crypto gambling itch that you would get trying to go for that 1000x on a meme coin in a provably fair way where you're not wondering like, oh, am I going to get rugged? Am I going to get, the whole fucking supply dumped in the next 2 seconds? It's more just like you gamble on your own time with a provably fair system and a set house edge. That's definitely a lot better than the trenches, as they say. So I think trying to talk to a lot of like big names on Twitter, we're doing that right now. Just getting like partnered with some of these, you know, people that would usually call out meme coins and what to buy and whatnot, have them instead kind of point their audience to a, again, provably fair and somewhat regulated environment is a lot better. And people will be definitely interested in that.
Yeah, I could see that. It
Well, what
is.
do you
It
think?
also is also a different niche though, because the thing about a meme coin gamble is people think they have an edge. Like you have a set house edge where people know for sure that they have slightly bad odds when they
Right.
might be feeling lucky. Some people might be like delusional and think like God Himself wants them to win this slot, so they're gonna like hit the slots
Yeah, yeah.
until God Himself like shows it to them. That's kind of the minority. I think most people probably know that they have kind of bad odds, but they might want to play the slots just for fun or whatever. But with these meme coins, people think they have a good edge because they're like, this meme coin is like, I know that this KOL is like in on it but hasn't announced it yet, and like I can see his wallet over here, and it's a funny meme, and I got like the community is memeing it really hard. Like they have all these like schizo ideas of why their meme coin that's 500k market cap is destined for 500 mil, and I think that's the fun that you have to recreate. That's actually part of why I'm really bullish on internet capital markets, is because that same schizo analysis that can go into like meme coin trading, I think can go into actual products, and I think it's actually a lot more fun to do it that way because most people aren't delusional and they know that they don't really have an edge in the meme coin trenches, that they can't tell if something's a runner or not really.
Right,
But
right.
with these coins, I think you can kind of do analysis on like the market, the founder, and like the revenues that are going to be made in the tokenomic structure. So you can actually kind of guess the price action more efficiently. That's what people are trying to do. And But back to the question of like, will these meme coin traders want to gamble on slots? I think it's a different like market, and you might have to change your games a little bit, or maybe you have those games, but maybe you also have some meme coin focused games where people can kind of have that same hit of, I don't know, they're
Yeah, they're going to 1000x or getting rugged kind of.
yeah,
And we actually have been kind of considering. I don't know if you're familiar with like the Crash game,
yeah,
um, but there's definitely a lot of different ways we could modify that to be kind of like a typical meme coin chart where it could either shoot up, fat green candle or instantly get rugged. So we're kind of playing with that idea as well. But I think the main concept is just that people love to gamble. Like it's fun as fuck. I'll be the first one to admit it. I love gambling. I've been doing it ever since the CS:GO gambling days. 5-10 years ago. It's been kind of like a huge part of I guess kind of the things I do on the internet. So I think if if we can bring a way to gamble to people that's convenient, like as convenient as just connecting your Web3 wallet, your Phantom wallet, and just playing, and where you don't have to kind of trust us at all. It's all provably fair. You can verify everything. Your funds are yours. I think people will like that. And I know like an example I had, and I kind of looked at them, and I've been kind of basing a lot of the decisions we make off of what they've done is Shuffle. They're a pretty big crypto casino, and they pretty much solely advertised or marketed themselves through Twitter and crypto Twitter for like almost a year, and they pretty much spent like nothing on KOLs or other streamers or whatever. They just did everything organically, and they've gone they're obviously like a huge company now, but I think there's ways to to market ourselves in a way that people realize is we're a better alternative to whatever they're gambling on right now, where they have to trust them, and it's kind of this like black box of who knows what.
yeah, yeah. I mean, also, so it sounds like you're going for crypto Twitter mostly as well, but have you thought about maybe trying to get in the hands of like the casual kind of gambler out in the real world, someone who doesn't use Twitter and someone who's not trading crypto, but like the guy on the Vegas strip who goes there every couple weekends to go like hit the slots and like play some card games and lose some money, but he likes doing it. Like, what about that guy? Is he maybe a future target audience member, or are you gonna stay focused on the CT kind of vertical?
That's a good point. I mean, we've definitely thought about it. Like, I think right now, the way our platform is set up, the fact that you have to connect a crypto wallet, just makes it like super crypto Twitter focused. Like, you're not gonna have some random 30-year-old guy who's never touched crypto or doesn't have Twitter open up Runit and gamble very easily. So I think the way we are right now, and for the next couple months for sure, we're gonna focus more on taking over and getting that crypto Twitter market share. It's definitely in our sites to try and be a bit more, I guess, like normie friendly. Like we want to abstract away the whole non-custodial part of it. Like ideally, you would just sign up with a email like you normally would, or connect your Google account, and the whole like crypto aspect of it is just something that's happening behind the scenes. Like you wouldn't even know you're playing with Solana or on Solana until you went to like withdraw your money, and it just goes straight to your crypto wallet or your Coinbase account or whatever. And we'd also want to do some sort of like easy, or I guess on-site like off-ramping, right? So the traditional person in our mind, like you boot up, run it, and you can literally Venmo $10 to us, and within 20 seconds you're playing with it in a non-custodial way. So there's a lot of like potential in this, especially with like companies like Turnkey that are providing like these non-custodial wallets, but without having to sign a transaction every time you want to move funds. There's a lot we can do to make it a lot more normie friendly and a lot more catered to the average person on the Vegas Strip. But I think for the foreseeable future, it's mainly going to be a crypto Twitter niche thing, or like at least crypto. It doesn't have to be Twitter, but you gotta have a Phantom wallet to play on our site, and that's just going to be kind of the way it is for the next couple weeks or months. I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, breaking into the normie vertical definitely requires a lot of infrastructure, like you said, like getting Privy ready, getting some like easy onboarding so people can pay with like Apple Pay or Venmo or something friendly. Um, so yeah, it makes sense that that's a further out goal if it's on the roadmap. Is there anything that you'd like to talk about that we haven't talked about yet?
Um, I think we should talk a bit about Believe. I mean, I know we talked about this before, kind of off camera, but I think just kind of talking about like how Launchcoin's price action will impact ours, um, and just kind
Yeah,
of people. There's a lot of like, I guess, negative sentiment around Ben and the whole like Believe ecosystem as a result of their token not doing too well. And I feel like it's a bit of a short-sighted mentality. Like, I wouldn't be surprised that some of the bigger Believe coins, like you said, Dupe, overtakes Launchcoin or whatever they choose to call it. Like, I wouldn't. I mean, just because a product launched on Believe doesn't mean that they're going to be overshadowed by them or restricted by their performance whatsoever. I think if we or if Believe grows and like you said, goes to a billion market cap, it only helps us. But if there's kind of poor price action for the next couple weeks or months and it just stays around the sub 9-figure market cap area, it doesn't mean that we're gonna be somehow like limited by that whatsoever. So
yeah. I definitely want to add to that is that I think Launchcoin going to a billion would be great for all the Believe tokens. I think people would go down the risk curve and want to keep getting beta to Launchcoin, and they'd look at all the cool projects within it.
right,
But if and that's like the great upside for products like Runit or MyCoin or Dupe. But if Believe chops around like 50 something mil, it doesn't matter. I think the people value these coins based on their revenue and like their user numbers. All that stuff gets people more excited than anything else, which is really exciting in crypto because we have all these like we have blockchains with like no users at like 1 billion FDV. Like Say is one that comes to mind. I saw it was at like 1.5 billion FDV. And I was just thinking, like, who has ever told me, like, oh yeah, I did something on Say the other day? No one.
yeah,
And not to shit on Say too much, but I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff out there with a lot of market cap and no users. And I think here we have like a lot of small gems that have awesome users and like pretty decent revenue numbers, and that's what people are focusing on. And like it doesn't matter what Launchcoin's doing because it's not related to Launchcoin. It's like this is your product, this is your revenue, and there's token buybacks going on or whatever mechanism you decide, and that's what people care about. And I'm very bullish on the whole ecosystem, so I do think Launchcoin is going to make new all-time highs. But if I'm wrong and it doesn't, I still think all the Believe coins are the determinators of their own destiny.
yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people like, especially the last couple of weeks, they've been shitting on Ben over Twitter saying you should promote the coins that have launched on your platform more. And I feel like I think that's something he said as well, but it's on our own it's our own responsibility to market ourselves, and we shouldn't be relying on Ben or Believe as a platform to somehow like take us to a higher market cap. Like, we're our own platform, we have our own revenue, we have our own buybacks and burn or whatever system. Like, it's fully in our hands what the price action is, I guess, to a certain extent. Obviously, like, can't really control wars and whatnot, but you can choose how much you devote to buybacks. You can choose how well you communicate with your community and how transparent you are, and that's what's going to drive the price up or down. Is mainly the way you act, not the way Believe acts.
Exactly. I've seen some founders talk to me, and they were like, "Yeah, Ben like hasn't shouted us out at all on Twitter, and like this is so stupid. He's not helping at all, and we're not even verified in the app, and that's why our token price is down." And I'm like, bro, like you're retarded. Like no one looks at the Believe app for what they're gonna trade, first of all. So like if you're not verified in there, no one gives a fuck. And like if you need Ben to shout your project out, you suck because you should be able to do your own marketing. It'll help if Ben shouts you out. Like there'll be a little Ben candle, but then it'll go back down. The Ben candle only lasts so long.
Exactly. I think a lot of people in there's like the traders who are in it for the long term, and the traders who are in it for a quick 2x or 3x, and it's very obvious, especially when I'm like kind of talking to people in our Discord and interacting with our users. You can tell pretty much off the bat which one they are. Um, if they're trying to, they're trying to say, oh, just get Ben to like reply to you, like, okay, what is that gonna do realistically? Like, we're gonna get a quick candle, like a little 20% jump, and then it'll go back down because our revenue's still the same, our platform's still the same. It's not like anything actually changed. It's just like the hype of it, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of projects, again, not to shit on any particular Believe project, but a lot of them are just kind of fluff. Like, they don't have an actual product. They don't even have any real revenue. They're just kind of recycling the same like VC funds and printing off their own token and just generating hype. But at the core of it, like over a couple, even just a couple weeks or maybe a couple months, like if you don't have an actual sustainable product at the center of your token, you're not gonna be able to maintain it. Um,
Yeah.
so like you said, those chains, like those blockchains that have multi like billion-dollar market caps or FDV, and it's like, who, I've never heard of this. Like, I've literally never used this app. I've never heard of this chain, and no one's ever going to build on it because it's just completely retarded. So I'm of the same idea that Believe apps need to have something at their core generating a revenue before they can have their token price go all crazy. And that's kind of why, like, we've kind of made the decision to not dump like 50% of our Believe fees and revenue into buybacks and burns, because that would only support like kind of the short-term price action. But what happens when our revenue is down to $1,000 a week and we're doing buybacks and burns for $500? Like, who gives a shit, right? We need to first have a stable platform that generates tens of thousands of a week at least in order to have a similar or impactful price action on our own token. So yeah.
Part of what actually excites me about this is I think there's a real chance for certain projects to be like fairly valued at like 100K market cap, and they should be around there, and it's like not even a bad thing for them to be at like that low market cap. Like, if there was an app out there that I like to use that made like 5K a month in revenue, and then like used part of it to buy back the token, you could do like the PE valuation on that, and it'd probably be like 100K or something like that, and then it's like, if you like the app, you can buy it, and it's not even a bad thing to have a low value.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think I totally agree. I mean, there's some Believe apps that have launched, and I'm like, yeah, that's never gonna go, or at least it kind of shouldn't go to a high market cap. It's just like someone's passion project, and it's not like they're gonna be doing millions of dollars of buybacks and burns, but it's still cool, like, to be able to support someone. And again, yeah, like you said, I think a lot of tokens should be at around a lower market cap. But I mean, in our example, obviously, or I'm a bit biased, but I think the online casino and like gambling industry or ecosystem has some of the highest upside potential in any online like space. Obviously, I mean, you've got casinos like Stake generating billions of dollars of profit each year. They're on Formula One cars, and they've taken over huge parts of the world. And it's like, if we can get even just a fraction of that that revenue, like, we'd be at a substantially higher market cap. And that's what makes me so excited, is that I honestly, like, I don't know, when I was trenching back in the day, it was every little like 100K jump up and down in market cap, I'd be, oh shit, do I sell or do I buy more? Do I sell? Like, now I honestly, like, I'm thinking in tens of millions of market cap for our token. I don't really care if we're at 1.2 million or 1.1 million or 900K. Like, obviously it's nice to have a higher market cap, but knowing what I know about the direction we want to take this project to and how committed we are to actually like growing it, I mean, as far as we're down in these numbers, it's not a big deal to me if we jump a little bit up and down if there's some volatility.
That's the funniest part about these Believe coins to me, is like, you went from like trading meme coins, which are just purely attention based and super fast, to now like we're trading actual businesses. Or I think that's the ideal. Like, not all of them are actual businesses. A lot of them are just meme coins at the moment. But like, the best Believe tokens are actual businesses who are trying to integrate their token and bring cash flows kind of towards their token. And you're having crypto degens who are used to trading dog with hat, like trade these things, and they're so not used to that idea that I'm gonna hold this coin that's at like 200K market cap, and in like a year from now, it's gonna be, at like a 5 mil market cap because that's gonna be its fair value based on cash flows. Like no one's ready for that conversation yet. And it's really funny for me to see all the CT degens like get confused when their coin goes down because they thought, it's like a good project. Like, bro, you got to zoom out and like chill. It's so funny to me.
Exactly. Yeah. Like especially with the whole war situation going on, and I mean, I think obviously like it's a much more important thing than a token price, but um, we've been sitting around the 1 mil market cap even through Solana dumping like 20-30% this last couple weeks, and the whole like crypto ecosystem and I guess even the stock market doing pretty shit. So I think to me it shows that people are kind of adapting a little bit to think longer term. Obviously, you still have the short-term traders who are, on your ass and, oh my God, when are you gonna ship this? Like, it's been 2 days and you haven't shipped a new feature. Like, what are you doing? And it's like, dude, there's so much more that goes on in the background that requires like time and attention that you can't just like ship features out. You can't just ship features out like every 2 days and have like a whole hype, like nonstop hype. Like, there has to be actual development and foundational like things laid down before you can take a project to the multi-million dollar market cap area. But
Yeah, exactly. Well said. Arden, that's about all the time I have today. I got to wrap it up. Is there anything that you'd like to share for all your holders out there before we end the episode?
oh, that's a good point. Honestly, I think the simplest thing is just don't fade the underdog. Like, obviously we're a big underdog. We're a very small fish in a ocean full of sharks, and metaphorical sharks where they're multi-million dollar corporations backed by big teams and people with deep pockets. But at the end of the day, like, we're we're super dynamic, we're super committed, and we're more incentivized now than ever in our like respective lives to make this shit happen. So stay tuned. We're gonna keep building. We're gonna keep shipping. If you don't see a crazy update in every 2 days, it doesn't mean we're gone and running with your money. We're still building, and you know we're always active in the Discord as well. So that's pretty much all I have to say.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you for coming on, Ardent, and
Yep.
let's run it.
Of course. Thank you for having me.